I'm pleased to say I'm now joined by Nic Jeal, who of course owns all the Antigua dogs and has several dogs that might well be entered for the Star Sports Derby. Certainly that's the intention at the moment. Thank you for joining us, Nic. I have to start by asking you about Antigua Breeze, because he's as short as 25 to 1 at the moment for the Star Sports Derby. But I know from chatting to you, you'd be a little bit hesitant to take that bet right now, wouldn't you?
I would. He's never run in an adult competition, so that was always going to be a big ask for him to step up for the Derby first time around. The dog's got an awful lot of pace. He's done some really good times. I was hopeful for the Derby, and then we had the Sussex Trial Stakes when he kind of let himself down and quite a lot. He was marked awkward from the fourth bend. I think you have to thank Hove racing manager. I think you couldn't have argued if he disqualified the dog. Mark believes he was just messing about because he was so far behind the hare. I don't know. I've lost a lot of confidence in the dog. I'd like to see him behave himself several times before I could take him seriously again. So I wouldn't be recommending anybody to bet that dog for the Derby. There's too many question marks about him. So I'd say very disappointed with his behaviour. So
I suppose another question mark, Nic, is does he get the 500?
Very good question. He certainly gets the trip in front. He's got a tremendous amount of early pace. This dog will not come from behind anything. He gives up very quickly. It's just in his character. He needs to dominate the race. The big question's going to be is if he runs, which I think he probably will that stamina be tested in the latter stages, as you know, 1 week after another? And I think it probably will be tested, and I think he might come up short. So because it's the 500 and it's quite a stiff 500, I think Mike would have to work a little bit of magic to get him up to the right sort of performances in sort of semi-finals and finals. So there's a lot of question marks about him. Dog has clearly got pace, but you need a lot more than that to win a Derby. So not one of my better contenders, I would say.
All that said, he does have plenty of ability. He's certainly given you some good times. He was the Monmore Winter Puppy Festival winner, second in the Hove Puppy Trophy as well, and he's sprinted with the best. I mean, he has a tremendous turn of early.
An awful lot of early pace, absolutely. If you can turn the bend in front, he can really put down a very good time. So if you're having a bet on the dog, it's about can he turn left first or not? Because if he can't, he's not going to be picking anything up at all. He has tremendous pace and puts some really great times down. But what the dog's not done is done it consistently. So in both the puppy competitions, he came second, I believe. In the heats, he did tremendous times and flunked in the final. No, dogs flunk. They're animals. They're not machines. That's fine. It's understandable. But he's not shown me the level of consistency that would make me think he's a Derby dog. But if he breaks free, he can do a really good time.
Interesting. Maybe a short one that we can be opposing. You've got a few others, though, to back him up. Antigua Boy is one of those. I don't know too much about this dog other than he trialled around Shelbourne just before lockdown, I think, 1854, didn't he? Which is pretty swift.
It was pretty swift, and I believe the Derby winner trialled in the same session and went 5 lengths slower. So he did the fastest of the session. I had a Kalawa Lizzie, same bitch that threw Poet, which is why we were interested. We bought them as pups. We bought 2, Boy and Lad. Very uninteresting names. Boy's 10 lengths faster than Lad, and we moved Lad on, who's now Mason Speedy Mac, I believe, which showed quite well in the Sussex. I think just got knocked out and was in a consolation, did 30 O's, man, Brighton. And Boy is 10 lengths faster than him without any question whatsoever. He's been a bit inconsistent. He's had a few small injury problems, and Brian Kennedy's bred the dog and kept the dog and kind of straightened him out and put him back on the track and done a fantastic job with him. So he's kind of floating a bit under the radar, but Brian rates the dog very strongly, and he's a very good judge of a dog. So of all the dogs, I would say he is our strongest contender, but he's flying a little bit under the radar at the moment.
Antigua Jet is another one then, 21.02 at Dundalk. You said that's the 3rd ever fastest time, which is incredible, but you're waiting to see the best of him over here.
Yeah, jointly owned with us and the Boozer Boys. Bought him off that time and had incredible pace when we first bought him, did a pretty decent time in Shelbourne, but seems a bit injury prone. Had a historic injury when we bought him. We knew about that. That resulted in having a toe taken off one of his hind legs. We've given him a massive amount of time to recover. He's progressing, but is yet to show us anything like that sort of form. We've had him checked out. He's over back in the UK now, first time he's been back. He's been checked out, he's sound, he's fine. It's a case of, can Mark work with the dog and bring him along and show the pace that we bought, or is it one of these things that the dog's cumulative small injuries have taken a toll, and albeit he's still a fast dog, he's not fast enough? So another one with a really big question mark behind him, but there was a tremendous amount of ability there. We just don't know if it's still there.
Definitely one to keep an eye on in the coming weeks, though.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Clearly, with the right trainer, if anybody's going to get him sorted out, Mark's going to get him sorted out. Not to say the Irish trainers weren't, no disrespect there. It's just an accumulation of injuries that have caused some problems.
Sure, Ron Mills has got his hands all over him as we speak.
He has indeed.
Antigua Romeo is also going to be part of your team. Of course, he was a quarter finalist last year. I love this dog. You know I love this dog. He's such a good boy. May 17. The last race he had, he won a heat of the Still City Cup. What's been happening with him?
Yeah, Mark has got this dog flying, really has, since last year. This time last year, he was doing 28 30s, 28 40s around Monmore. He was doing 27 80s in the end. Did the fastest heat time in the Steel City Cups, broke the track record at Hove. Dog was absolutely flying, and then picked up a small injury, a toe injury in the paddock, would you believe? Only small, not a problem. So that's had to come out of the semi-final of the Steel City Cup. We were very hopeful that he would go very well in that competition, but that's racing, that's what happens. Then we had lockdown, and he did a couple of really good trials, looked like he was regaining the speed, and then did a shoulder at Towster in the sprint, of all things, which was quite bad for shoulders. Mark's been giving him several weeks off. He's about 10 days away now, so he's nearly back to where he was. So nothing that he's had injury-wise should have affected him in the medium to long term. He's obviously out of the Gold Cup. We can't bring him back fast enough. So his focus for the year is the Derby. Now, last year, I didn't think he ran that track particularly well, and was even in two minds whether to put him in the Derby or not. The seeding doesn't help. He's a true middle dog. He wants 3 or 4. He ran every race out of 5 or 6 last year, which it's too much to ask for the dog with those really fast dogs inside to come across. Was there a perceived bias with the tracks last year? I don't know. I've run really good dogs around Nottingham, and they've come out of 6 and they've won very nicely. So I don't know. It's a bit of Emperor's New Clothes, I believe, there. But anyway, if there's new traps in place, but I'm not 100% convinced that's his track. Hove definitely is. He loves more now as well, but he did very well. He's a year older. He's much faster, but I still have to be convinced that he runs Nottingham well, and I'm not that convinced at the moment. So great. He's as mad as a box of frogs. He's as fast as you like, but if a dog doesn't like a track, he doesn't like a track. So of the 4, 3 of them have got question marks.
But that said, his form, like you say, before lockdown was unbelievable. He was beating the absolute best, Gilo, Blissful, Linson, Whelan, Make No Apology, just to name a few. So if Mark can get him back in that sort of form, and if he can maybe get used to the new traps at Nottingham, maybe he's going a little bit under the radar.
Maybe just because of the lockdown and now the injury. I think it was reported as a bad injury. It wasn't a bad injury per se. It was a slightly more of a shoulder than you would hope. It was inflamed, and so it took a little while to get over. And we don't rush our dogs back. We give them plenty of time. So there's nothing there that would indicate that he can't come back as fast as he was, say, at the Steel City Cup or when he broke the 500 at Hove. The only question in Mark is does he handle the track? That's the only question mark I have against the dog. So in my order of priority, I think Boy is our top contender, and I have Romeo slightly behind him, and the other two, well, very big question marks against. So,
well,
yeah.
very interesting for the people betting out there, because I think that will cause some surprises. Antigua Boy being your first string for the Derby. I'm going to ask you one more question. If there's any other dog that's going for the Derby that you could buy and get into policies to add to your Derby team, who would it be? Who do you like the look of?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, it has to be New and Taylor, isn't it? You know, it has to be. There were general discussions about should we table something for that dog or not, and we felt basically he was unbuyable. But yeah, if I could put that dog in the team, I think you'd be going with a very realistic chance of winning.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, money doesn't always buy you what you need, and it's something that. And good luck to the people who've got dogs like that. Why should you sell them? Why not run them and enjoy them? And that's what the game's about. It's not about money, it's about enjoyment. Yeah,
absolutely. Nic, it's been great to talk to you, and thank you for filling us in. I will keep my eyes open for Antigua Boy in the coming weeks, and hopefully, all being well, fingers crossed, we'll see you at Nottingham.
I'm sure, yes, hopefully, yes. We have to stay positive. I'm sure life will return back to normal, and I look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Nic. Cheers.
Take care.